Hi, have you been to a British seaside before? Did you survive? Well, if you did, you might know the topic of what I'm talking about today. And those of you who survived Scarborough or Whitby, I really hope the PTSD is manageable. Here's what you'll find at the good old British seaside. Shops selling garish tat and sexist postcards, donkeys that look like they just want to go home, fairground attractions held together with duct tape run by the most disinterested tracksuit-wearing teenager you've ever seen, a bunch of vending machines with pants in them for some reason, not used ones, we're not that weird over here, solid sticks of sugar, penny push arcades, and the fastest, most bastard seagulls in the entire world. Try to eat a plate of chips on the sand and this motherfucker will have your chips, your plate, and your wallet. Let me tell you, British seagulls do not muck around. Sometimes they steal small children and toddlers. Every year at least 200 babies are stolen by seagulls. Probably. You're also not unlikely to see this, a Punch and Judy show. This is a core part of British culture. It's a puppet show about spouse beating and child neglect, both things which are also a core part of British culture. This show seems to have come about in the 17th century, directly inspired by a type of Italian stage performance featuring easily recognisable characters. These little show booths are usually manned by just the one person, who uses hand puppets to tell a highly slapstick story. Punch and Judy shows will always star the titular characters, but everyone knows the other characters, like the police officer, the crocodile, and there's Punch and Judy's baby too. The character of Punch always speaks through a kazoo, which is this really annoying little squeaky thing. And he uses this voice to say stupid catchphrases like, "That's the way to do it!" "Sheer hilarity!" He's got lots of other ones as well. They're all equally annoying. Not that I would know about stupid catchphrases. The puppeteer inside the Punch and Judy booth will sometimes interact with the audience, usually through Punch's squeaky voice. Think very pantomime, he's behind you, oh no he isn't sort of thing. Traditionally, a Punch and Judy puppeteer will go by Professor or Punchman for the sake of the performance, although they won't ever appear on the stage, inverted commas, as their self. Only the puppets get to have that privilege. And the storyline is usually the same. Punch tries to look after his baby, gets into a fight with his wife Judy, the police officer comes along and beats Punch up, and he has run-ins with various other characters, including the aforementioned crocodile, which is attracted to a string of sausages, but he always comes out on top at the end. There's a lot of puppets beating each other up, basically. Kids love that kind of thing because kids are bloodthirsty bastards. And drunk adults at the seaside love that kind of thing. For the same reason. The character of Punch is actually kind of interesting because he's a total knobhead and yet lovable in a kind of way that feels dirty. He's always beating up other people or animals with his stick for no particular reason. He's not very good at looking after his baby, and he also does have massive fights with his wife which do result to violence. But when these pretty serious real life issues are being played out by some puppets on the end of some lad's hand and through the squeaking of a kazoo, it can be kind of funny, alright? I have laughed at these shows before when I've been hammered on a beach, which every British person has been at least once. When I was researching this video, I found out about the most god-awful single that was released in 1977 about Punch. Oh good god, it's bad. It's so bad, no, seriously. Never-ending pain, sheer hilarity. I don't want to play too much of it because I don't know if there's some lunatic who goes around buying copyrights and he's going to try and sue me for doing so. But you can hear the whole thing on YouTube if you really want to hurt yourself. The song is called, and I'm not joking, Naughty, Naughty, Naughty. As a masochist myself, I did listen to the whole thing multiple times and came away with a raging boner and a feeling of emptiness that no amount of aftercare would help me through.
But late at night, his sole intention is to get me on my own, and I know the games he wants to play.
Yes, my good lady, what you have just described is an absolute fuckboy. Yes, the subject of this song is the singer singing about how she didn't fancy Punch at first and he was whispering stuff in her ear like naughty, 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 and for some reason that made her want him, and now she's just singing about wanting to shag him. I mean, she doesn't explicitly say that she wants to shag him. This was a novelty record from the 1970s, so they couldn't be that blatant about it. It was all in the subtext.
Oh, no, you don't.
Which is weird because, one, canonically, he's married, and although he did canonically have a mistress, that character got phased out as the show became more for children than adults in the last, 100 years or so. And two, look at him. Look at him. Don't get me wrong, it's been a long time for me, but the minute I start getting hot over a wood-faced puppet that chases people around with a big stick and talks through a kazoo, just kill me.
He's been in trouble with the law for grievous bodily harm, but I believe his temper's just as sure.
Did you hear that lyric? He's in trouble with the law for grievous bodily harm, but it's just for show. The grievous bodily harm, that's just for show, yeah? She sings it so happily too. She's like, oh yeah, my boyfriend batters the shit out of people, but he's so cute, so, it's fine. Yeah, you've heard the other whimsical songs of this era, right? My dad left my mum for a younger woman, but he's not a nonce, just... Or how about, my wife is spending a suspiciously long time at the gym every night, and she's not getting thinner. Or my personal favourite, my boyfriend waved a machete in the face of a nightclub bouncer cause he was high on ketamine. But it's okay, I trust him alone with my newborn baby that's probably his. See, Taylor Swift can't touch that shit. I just want to say, despite the fact that this single is completely terrible, I'm not coming for the singer here. She was a singer who sort of fell into this kind of thing. I think she was well aware that what she was singing wasn't exactly, chart-topping stuff. All in all, she seems like a really lovely lady. So with these two being so recognisable in the UK, it makes sense that they would show up in a video game eventually. In this case, on some home computers in 1983 and 1984. I think this game was on the ZX Spectrum and then ported over to Commodore 64 and all the other ones. I do want to look at the ZX Spectrum version and the Commodore 64 version because there's some real differences in quality. Let's start with the god-awful one. I really do try and play these games in the mindset of the context of the time because I didn't play them when they first came out and it seems a bit unfair. And this game does happen to be an early platformer. For those of you who don't know anything about video games and you literally just watch these videos for my charming personality, a platforming game is a game where you jump on platforms. And some games aged well. Some of them didn't. In my opinion, platformers of this era really did not age well. And I'm not convinced they were that great at the time. Hang on, let me just look at the comments section after I said that. Oh god, my self-esteem faces. Oh, my skin. Punchy is closely based on another game called Hunchback, originally made for the arcades. And when I say this game is based on Hunchback, I mean it's pretty much Hunchback. Hunchback is certainly simplistic, but it offered something different for the time. People seem to have really fond memories of it. So I hope I'm not about to molest those memories with the application of this hook-nosed pillock. And even as someone who can't be really doing with these early platformers, I can say that, it does the job. As someone who didn't play Hunchback when it came out, I don't have the benefit of the context of the time to know whether it was an enjoyable gameplay experience, but people seem to say it was good at the time. There you go. For me, I know I can't, I'm not into it. Back to Punchy. For me, there's really something to be said about the presentation of this particular Hunchback clone, and it's why it got my attention. Because why the heck does anyone want to play a video game about Punch and Judy? It's just odd, and the fact it's the only example of a video game about the two idiots says everything, really. The menu screen is really busy, to the point that it overwhelms me. It looks a lot like those teletext screens from the 90s, doesn't it? It's just asking if you want to use the joystick or keyboard and what speed you want the game to be, and it's showing off the high scores. It looks a lot more than it is, but it is making me feel a bit anxious. Just too much going on. So you're not going to get to play as Punch, you're going to play as the police officer. The one who occasionally shows up in the stage show just to hit everyone with a big stick without discrimination. Funny how some things never change. This is already interesting to me because you're playing as the bad guy. Although conversely Punch is a wanker, he's an anti-hero and you're meant to root for him. So the script has already been flipped here. Here you are, you're a little guy. Oh, you're adorable. Look at the little guy. The storyline is that Punch, or Punchy as he's called in this for some reason, has made off with Judy. His wife. Yes, that is supposed to be Judy there. Drawn to be way hotter than she should really have been drawn, because this is what she looks like. Yeah, a little bit annoying, but, you know, video game covers needed to sell the game to teenage straight males. Anyway, so hot or not, she's unwilling here. So one can assume this is before the pair of them got married? Otherwise, what's the point in the Rosa going after them? Also, this makes things a bit dark, considering there's a baby in the game that you're meant to be saving too. A baby that, if it's in line with the stage show, is the child of both Punch and Judy. I don't want to think too hard about this, or I'm going to go ahead and get triggered. I do that enough as it is. What is that? There's a baby on a stick there. No, okay, never mind, I'm triggered. What the hell are you doing putting your baby's crib on the top of a stick? Are you nuts? Get that down right now, you can't do that. The area you're in is meant to be the usual Punch and Judy booth. You know, the little theatre thingy that I mentioned, and it does work as that once you know what it is. At first, I thought it was all kicking off in a circus. And when I say kicking off, I mean sort of jumping over this flashy thing, jumping on this flappy thing, and avoiding this spiky thing. It's not fundamentally difficult, the problem comes with the controls, which honestly I can't tell if I find so difficult because they aren't modern, or because I'm just crap. There's a delay between pressing the jump button and the lad actually jumping in games of this era, which I suppose gamers would expect. Me though, it takes me a while to work out the exact point at which I need to be pressing that damn jump button. Look, my brain's still recovering from that friggin' menu screen, give me a break. Look at the crocodiles, look at how cute they are. Why is there so many of them in the same pit? Are they being farmed? That's the thing, you know, people put crocodiles in big pits and just sort of wait until they're old enough to harvest to make into handbags. So I wonder if that's what's happening here. Well, you know, the crocodile is a recurring character in the Punch and Judy show, so it makes perfect sense for it to be included, but there's a lot of them here. There is no way that a Punch and Judy actor is able to have that many appendages in order to pull that many crocodiles onto the stage. And you know what? I am really depressed with how much this inconsistency has bothered me. That's what these games do to me, man. Also, excuse me, but I was expecting a flashy thing to be a pickup. Yes, whatever this is looks like a pair of loose bollocks, but 9 times out of 10, if it's flashing, I'm gonna pick it up. Even if it does look like a pair of loose bollocks. It's how I met most of my ex-boyfriends. But no, this actually hurts you. Out of order. I just got slapped in the face by flashing baubles, and I am not happy. I'm never happy with that. This weird flappy platform is unfair too. You need to get on the precise part of it because the bits that look like a tongue will kill you. That would be fine in a modern game where the jumping is responsive, but in this you've got to do a bunch of pre-calculation to get in the right place. I don't want to be a mathematician. I can barely manage paying for things with cash. Don't do this to me. Who are these guys? Why are they so against the police officer taking the child to a safe place? I think actually this guy is supposed to be Punchy himself. So he's just being a dickhead really. He's like, can someone get child services in the situation? Maybe. The man's going around with a big pointy stick. Also, these flashy things aren't good for you, but the flashing sausage, that you're supposed to collect. So don't touch the balls, but touch the sausage. Alright, I got it. Everyone's different. It's good to get that information beforehand, though. Saves a lot of awkwardness. If you get 3 sausages, you can skip to the next screen. That's the point of the sausages. Sausages are a mainstay of the Punch and Judy shows, like I said. A string of them often gets lobbed around and the characters fight over them. In this game, though, the sausages have been sent by Judy to help the police officer, which makes 0 sense, but I'm not one to turn down a free sausage. Speaking of free things, you've probably noticed that all the videos on my channel and this one aren't sponsored. It's not that I'm averse to sponsorship, but I kind of want to keep this channel as sponsor-free as possible for as long as possible. So if you could just subscribe or like or share, it really helps me out. It keeps this channel going, it keeps me going. If you're already subscribed and all of that gubbins, you are awesome and cool, and I give you permission to eat too much ice cream. Now remember I said that this game is a rip-off of an arcade game called Hunchback. That game, Hunchback, also got lots of home console computer releases. Well, the arcade version of Hunchback had some synthesized voice. What sets this ZX Spectrum version apart is that it also has a voice. Just for context, around the time that this game was made, it was quite unusual to hear a voice in a home computer video game. I mean, you could hear it, but you'd need to have all manner of plugins and gubbins and stuff. But no, this arrogant sounding bastard, he was built in. Yes, in Punchy on the ZX Spectrum, we get to hear the voice of Punch. And even though it doesn't sound like it's being said through a kazoo like the stage version would be, it's still ungodly obnoxious. It's impressive that they managed to make it this obnoxious on a ZX Spectrum. Doesn't he sound bizarrely terrifying? You'll hear him be chatty after every screen change. And when our player character dies, Punch actually shows up in the sky to mock you. Where did he come from? Why is he in the sky? And honestly, when I first played it, I thought I was being mocked by a frog. I thought I was playing a game where a sky frog takes the piss out of my gaming skills. I suppose it looks like a guy's face, and famously frogs can't talk, so... No, look, you see what I mean? If we just get rid of this bit here. It looks like a frog. It looks like a little frog's face in the sky, being patronising. I feel like I'm being a little bit mean because if this is anything like other ZX Spectrum games, this was probably coded by a child, or at least someone who wasn't 20 yet. Which in my view is a child. And it's going to be difficult to draw the face of this hook-nosed pillock on the ZX Spectrum graphics, so fair play. I'm just saying, I didn't know shit about shit until I was like 25 or something. It's goddamn impressive when people who can't even drink legally in America are able to make full games, today and back in the 80s. When I was 20, I was doing all with my life. Well, I was getting a drama degree, which is doing all with my life. And I have to say, much as I dislike the game, I really found myself dedicated to beat it because of how much of a prick this guy sounds. Listen to him. What a git. He needs taking down a peg or two with a big stick. You know, Punchy isn't a game worth playing today, sorry, but it isn't, but I want to ruin it because of how much of a prick Punchy clearly is. In the spirit of dick moves, I have to say I also really enjoy the font used. I hope it was chosen on purpose to troll the players, because it is the most awkward, most difficult to understand font I have ever seen. Like, I can see it's supposed to be a sort of calligraphy writing on ancient papyrus sort of font. I don't know why that's particular to Punch and Judy, but it really does not translate well to the little pixels that the ZX Spectrum is capable of. Here's the screen you get if you manage to get onto the high scoreboard. Well done, Sirrah has attained one of the top 8 scores of this fine May day. Pray enter thy... Oh, I see, that's a T, not a D, okay. Pray, enter thy emblem using thy dead left, and also thy right combat cauldrons? What is going on? I can't read this. This is like if mumble rap was a font. I'm not joking, I spent a good couple of minutes squinting very hard at this to work out what the hell I was about to agree to. You can never be too careful these days. What, have you never accidentally sold off the rights to your left kidney because you couldn't be bothered to read some terms and conditions and just clicked OK? Is that really just me? It's cute how our policeman looks a lot more like a policeman when he's a dead policeman. And he is actually dead here. We are looking at a dead body, according to the screen we see every time he loses a life. You are dead. I love that. I love a losing life screen that tells you, this is how shit you are, our lad's dead. But it is a bit confusing because when you lose all of your lives, you get this screen. So PC Bobby has died multiple times and then come back to life through the art of, I don't know, necromancy. He's trying to pull a baby from the top of a stick while some lunatic tries to hit him with a stick. Meanwhile, there's flappy-tongued platforms knocking about and crocodiles and all manner. And then he goes and gets demoted. Dude, this is what unions are for. Go join one right now. You're dealing with terrible working conditions. And as for the baby on a stick thing, you know what? That's not even your area of expertise. Get child services on that. Yep, it's slow and janky, and yes, both those things are due to limitations of the time, but you can't make a game fun by taking the context into consideration. It's just not fun, sorry. Not unless you're nostalgic for Hunchback and you particularly want to play a version that hurts your eyes and mocks you relentlessly. That being said, I do like the sound effects. I think they're charming, so long as you're not playing this with headphones, because you will die. Ow! It also frequently plays a mangled version of Greensleeves, which is nice. No, I like it. It's like a 5-year-old desperately trying to play a piano. The game is all very messy and chaotic, and you know, I do like that, but it's still just a bit crap. In my opinion, okay? Don't flame the comments telling me I'm an idiot because I don't like a game I don't have the benefit of nostalgia with. Here's the Commodore 64 version. So the sound is far better, the graphics far better, the gameplay much better, and, you know, less clunky. I have to say, after playing the ZX Spectrum version, I was kind of starting to enjoy this one. Oh, there's the baby, look. Seems to be in a safe situation this time. Hanging from a chain from a scroll. Alright. Oh, look at the poor thing, though. It's terrified. It looks like a ghost. Is it already dead? Love the dinky little way he walks along as well. Mwah, chef's kiss. There's no sky frog this time. I mean, Punchy, or whatever. It feels like it's missing, you know? I was kind of enjoying being mocked at every screen change. Now I have no particular reason to beat the game, apart from to save the terrified ghost baby. And not to be crass, but why am I trying to save a ghost baby who's already dead? I am happy to see that this version only has the one crocodile though. That's true to the show. The ghost baby not so much, but we're gonna take whatever we can have at this stage. Would you look at how delightfully cute and round the police officer is? I don't care what you say, that's an absolutely adorable character design. I feel a bit like I'm playing it for the sake of it now. I'm just procrastinating at this point, putting off all of the important things that I need to do with my life. Not just things like important life admin, but accepting that I'm getting older and I still haven't done most of the things I was hoping to have done by now, but remaining frozen in executive dysfunction that no matter how much I want to, I can't seem to thaw myself out of. Alright, time to go do something more valuable with my life. Well, there you go, that was an odd one. It's kind of cool to see a traditional seaside feature be turned into a video game. That voice, however, will be haunting my dreams, but not as much as that song. That ain't the way to do it. That ain't the way to do it. Oh no, it ain't. I don't think I've ever heard a song that I more want to crowbar out of my skull and never listen to again. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing here, blah blah blah, please subscribe. It really helps me out, blah blah blah. No, seriously, it honestly does. And you know, maybe share some of my content with your friends too. I know you've got them, because I don't. Someone must have them.